to the Us Ellis podcast.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. I took a little break there after the start of the baseball season. So much work leading up to it, and then opening day happened, and I just got kind of engrossed in all things baseball, and it's good to be back with everybody, and it's especially good because we're going to have Murph on the show today. We're going to talk about a bunch of topics. We're going to talk about the NCAA championship game tonight. We're going to talk about a little bit about NCAA football, a little bit about the NFL offseason stuff. We're going to talk about baseball a little bit, and then we're going to talk about the Masters coming up and Tiger Woods and what's going on with Tiger. So a lot of topics. Really good to have him back on. So hope you enjoy the show. I'm going to finish off again with my week 1 power ratings for MLB, and didn't want to make a lot of changes to the power ratings. I don't want to overreact, although I think I've seen some things early on that is really good for some teams and really concerning for others. Again, if you enjoy this podcast, I'd ask you to follow the show, subscribe, whether that's on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Give the show a thumbs up if you like it as well. And then follow me on all of my social media channels, X, Instagram, at Us Ellis HQ. And email me if you have questions, want to join the show, want to disagree with me, agree with me, whatever it is, jamie@tellusellis.com. So without further ado, let's get into it. Kevin Murphy.
Jamie Ellis, what's up, buddy?
You know what? I'll take the responsibility. I've got to make sure that we don't go this far. No. I thought I lost you when you went down to Florida for that national championship game.
Heck,
I
so did Jen. Nobody knew. Yeah. Nobody knew. It was touch and go.
So did Jen.
I mean, it's Miami.
Well, so much has happened.
Place. Yeah.
I mean, we were talking, and it's like, in a way, this is the best time of year because it's spring, right? And you've got baseball, you've got the Final Four, you even have the Masters coming up, all kinds of stuff. So I was just thinking about where to start today, and I think we have to start with the national championship game tonight. It's a major deal. We've got Michigan and UConn, and I'm sitting there thinking about the dominance of the Big Ten in all of these college basketball championships. I mean, UCLA, now part of the Big Ten, the women's, they win the national championship.
How funny is this, though? My brother-in-law sitting next to me, he said it 3 times before it dawned on me. UCLA's in the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Michigan in the Big Ten. I don't associate one with the other. If you say UCLA, I don't think of Michigan.
Well, that's like saying Indiana won the national the football championship. You don't associate that either. I don't know what's
the Big Ten's killing it. I mean, they're just in everything, it seems.
Is that just a thing that comes and goes? Because, forever it was the SEC is just dominant. They've got the kids in the South. They can recruit in the South. Is it the transfer portal? I mean, we kind of talked about this before, but what's happening here?
Well, I hate to say it, but I think it's an evening of the field, a leveling of the playing field, where some people are better at doing business one way and had been doing it that way for a long time. And quite honestly, we up north weren't very good at it. We didn't quite understand it. And it's hard, Jamie, not to sit there and say that was their main source of success is they were just finding a better way to attract those kids, because now that everything's even, now that somebody can get something here as the same over there, you'll see a kid leave Alabama to go play for Tennessee Tech. There's not that. We always thought it was like this aura. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe those kids were just compensated.
That aura feels like it is just not there anymore.
It's gone.
I mean, did you see today? It sounds like North Carolina is going to hire Mike Malone. The NBA's Mike Malone, the Denver Nuggets' Mike Malone is their head coach. And you talk about aura.
Translate into what?
Well, I don't know. But it's forever it was like, hey, Dean Smith is retiring. We've got to find the next great North Carolina guy to fill this spot. And now it's just, it feels like it's gone. It's a business. Who can get these kids in here NBA ready so they can come do their 1 year and get out of here? And that's why, this NCAA tournament this year, I honestly haven't enjoyed it as much. I I don't
doesn't
know.
mean as much.
I mean, do you remember when we
next year and so interestingly, there was McNamara got the job at Syracuse, right? For guys our age, is like one of the coolest things. Jerry McNamara was just awesome, and he was close to us, and we had a little history there of watching him a little bit in high school, and so. But he comes back to a Syracuse, and where I'm going with this is so he's a player, he's vested, he loves Syracuse, right?
Yep.
You don't have that anymore. You don't have you're North Carolina. You don't have an alumni to bring back to the program and get excited and right?
I mean, they tried
business. Nothing means anything, right?
I guess they said they tried that. They tried that with Hubert Davis and it didn't work. And I mean, sure, you can say that maybe it didn't work, but is that because you tried to go back to that system, or is that because you didn't get the right type of coach to mesh with these guys that are coming in and just want to go and play 1 year?
Yeah.
It's just, exactly. I don't know. When we were young, we used to put up the big tournament board and we would move the cards around, and it's like, it just doesn't feel the same anymore.
Well, you're not invested in the kids like you used to be. Remember, March Madness stories really meant something. Now it's like, well, he's on his 5th school and his wife just had their 2nd child. He's 28 years old and he's been playing college basketball for 8 years now.
There is a good story here about this kid from, I think it's Greenville, Indiana, that plays for UConn. The kid that hit the 3-point shot in the Duke game. It's a good story. He comes back now. We've got the Final Four here. He's playing in front of his hometown family, friends, etc. So that's a really good story. And he's a freshman. But they're already saying, hey, is he one and done? Is he going pro now? Is he going to turn this into his card to go pro? And it's like, I don't think the kid's ready yet. But that's what it's all about now. And it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, and the NBA has finally come to grips with their product being watered down by this talent that isn't ready to play against other NBA guys. And so, and it gets the fan base pissed off because they draft this kid, right? And they think he's supposed to be the next coming, but it just doesn't translate.
It's what
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you.
Well, I was just gonna. I was gonna say the NBA. There's talk of expansion now. They're going to look at 2 expansion cities, and is this it just doesn't feel like the right time to me? Like you said, it feels like the product's watered down.
Would you be taking 2 away and getting rid of 10 games a season?
Yeah, I know. We got to talk to Buckler about this. I mean, he's all about the NBA.
He's the guy that would know. But in my mind, Jamie, I can't see adding on to something that is not in great shape.
It's already watered down. You have teams that are tanking. There was a couple Friday nights ago, there was a series of games. It was awful, awful television watching. You see teams like the Wizards giving up, 82 points or whatever to Bam Adebayo. And I don't know, something just feels broken in the basketball system between college and NBA that they have to address. They have to fix that.
Well, the NBA has always been a huge mystery to me. I don't understand how the product's still there. I don't understand how. I mean, it's an expensive ticket, and it's an expensive beer, and it's expensive nachos, and what are you watching at the end of the day? Heck, 3 of the guys might take the night off.
Well, that's it. I mean, I will say, with that Pacers run last year, we really enjoyed it. Jill and I enjoyed it. We would go to the games. We would watch the games. Now, the Pacers were built a little different, right? They didn't have these superstars that are going to sit out. I mean, Halliburton's going to play. So they were built a little bit different. But I hear what you're saying. I think, in talking to Buckler over the years, he's like, you've got to look at the talent that is in each one of these players, and they're the most exceptional athletes in the world. And I do believe that.
It would be great to have him on because, you have the average guy's argument, right? And I would consider mine in that. I don't know it like Buck does, but it would be interesting to hear somebody truly, truly defend it. And I would trust him because he's lived it, for a long time and followed every game. So I would be interested to hear him talk to me and see how I felt when he was done regarding the NBA. College basketball to me, though, Jamie, you were talking about sort of not necessarily being as into it.
Yeah.
I just think there's got to be some type of reform. I think that system's broken, and that was a Pandora's box that got open, and nobody can close it now. And
well, maybe Trump can.
Because here's how I see it ending. I see it ending with we'll just use Virginia as an example. And Virginia every year gets $2 million to their basketball program, and then they have to call and think that something happened with the mail or something. The check just didn't come. Maybe it's a little late. And the guy's like, nah, I'm sort of done. I don't know the kids. It's not the same feeling. I don't get to know them, and they're not around the program. And all I hear about is who's staying and who's going. I'm just sort of going to do something else. But, these guys, it is a lot of disposable income, obviously. I mean, the wealthy. But at the same time, they're in business for a reason, and they have their money because they didn't necessarily waste it and give it away. So when do these guys start going, I'd rather do this. I'd rather help these people out,
Do you think that I didn't expect to go this deep within the first 10 minutes, but I'm going to throw a question at you. Do you think these kids deserve to get paid? Should they get paid?
Yeah, I do. And I've had the same take. I think I went on a tangent probably before because I really feel passionately about it. I just feel that the NBA or the NCAA is the 100% the evil empire in all of this. They just are. Everything these kids said, they're not wrong. I mean, if you're fighting, and this can happen. I mean, you're talking about a kid that's 85 pounds. He gets 3 meals a day. He's burning how many calories? Now he gets free food at the thing, but I bet that boy's hungry at night. And so they did deserve something. The NCAA didn't want to participate, and so this is what we get. And the NCAA wins because they don't have to police it. And heck, they're not even paying it. See, I think the money should have come from the NCAA and the colleges.
Well, and I think if you're going to see reform, first of all, if you're going to see reform, I think we've talked about this before. It feels like it's got to come from the government because the NCAA has no reason to want to change it. Like you said, they've got
no
nothing
reason to want to change it, and they sleep well at night.
Yeah, that's right.
I think they are. Somehow, some way, they sleep at night. They've never wanted to change. They never felt they needed to change.
I mean, think about all the games and stuff that they've made. How much money off of these kids over the years? The college football game, the college basketball game. I mean, for years. And so,
you remember when the first name, image, likeness came up? Do you remember the kid's name? He was from UCLA. He was a basketball player. Banyan?
Yeah. I think they were twins or something.
And they were the first one. I'll never forget when he filed that, and I thought, well, that's just the biggest waste of time. There's no way that's going to get any traction.
Yeah.
And what was his name? Can you look it up?
I'm looking it up.
And I thought it was the most absurd thing I had ever heard. I thought he was from UCLA. But back to the point is with all of this stuff going on right now, they don't want to police it. They don't have to police it. And if a third party doesn't step in and big donors don't sort of start to step in, but everybody's at fault. I think the colleges are too. I mean, they're selling the jerseys and making that money. And I mean, gosh, I don't know, what they make on a Saturday, right? Between your Pepsi contract, your TV contract,
It is it is corporate greed at its highest, and there will be movies about this. Well, in some ways, there already has.
I don't think you're wrong about that. There's going to be people that exit this arena, and there'll be stories told. I think that'll blow our minds. We'll be like, really?
Wasn't there a movie Johnny Be Good? I mean, oh my!
It had a great end.
So what do you think tonight? Are you going to watch?
Oh, yeah, I'll watch, Jamie, but I'm just not into it as much this year.
I agree. Michigan seems a little arrogant to me. Go figure. I would love to see UConn win it. I know Hurley he has some detractors, and he has his fans, but I wouldn't mind seeing UConn win. I think Hurley's a good coach.
Well, it's hard to argue with success, right? It's hard to argue with a guy that can berate his players in this climate right now with people's feelings and things getting hurt. that you can have a coach that can yell like a Tom Izzo. There's only like 3 or 4 of them that can really, really unload. And they don't have a choice. It's just who they are. Like Hurley's never going to have a normal conversation as a coach on a basketball court with his player. He just isn't.
Yeah.
He might 3 hours later when they're having pizza somewhere, but he's a different cat when he's on that court. And, his is the same way. Real quick, though, let me go back to Pitino, though.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
I've actually seen him a few times close, and I can't go into details, have a buddy who knows him. And, he's one of those guys that he has like a presence. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like when he walked through, I felt it a few times. And the one time it was Coach K that did it. When Coach K walked through the airport, it was like the seas parted and you were just sort of taken aback. Rick Pitino sort of did that to me. I mean, since I've been on this earth, he's been winning basketball games at a number of different places for a long time. A long time he's been in a new game. So,
well, he does look like Michael Corleone. So,
and
I think there's that.
Somewhat connected.
He could be
winning national.
But getting back to Calipari, I'll never forget that incident at UMass when Chaney came in. I mean, that was one of the most remarkable things I think that's ever occurred. Maybe that and this Gino Don Staley midcourt.
Yeah, what was the story with that?
I don't know. At first, it sounded like he was saying she disrespected him by not shaking hands or not greeting each other at the beginning of the game. And I've seen clips. They definitely said hello at the beginning of the game. So I don't know what the issue is. I feel like Gino's getting a little more heat in this than Don Staley is. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. He's a great coach, obviously. Nothing but success. But
Don Staley was quite the topic of conversation. I didn't know this, but I guess the clothing line she was wearing is in another stratosphere as far as price.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
did not know that.
I don't know. Your team's playing a national championship game. You couldn't squeeze something that said Gamecocks or USC or, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sort of a big stage, big time to represent your school, and you went with an Italian designer. I don't know. I didn't care for it.
Tom Landry all those years. I mean, look, he wasn't putting on Cowboys gear.
Well, and that was the argument though, Jamie. If you're a male coach and your choice of attire is a suit,
you're not going to hear. Yeah.
But you're not paying for that suit. Somebody wants you to be wearing their suit. And so if that was her choice, man, maybe that's the thing. And she doesn't have a history of wearing South Carolina stuff.
That's interesting.
She's not a coach that wears traditional coaching gear. She has an outfit. And she's doing something with it. So that wasn't anything new, what she did.
That's a really interesting thing, Kevin. I didn't think about it from that male-female perspective. But like when I think about women's basketball and coaching, I've seen a lot of them not wear team apparel.
Well, it's 50-50. It came up because I think what happened is you had a lot of people that don't watch a lot of girls basketball.
That's fair.
And so you had a lot of people in a room that maybe didn't know Dawn Staley's background or whatever. I'm sure that's 100% a preference, but like you got the girl from LSU, the woman from LSU, she wears everything, but everything's custom at LSU. So, it's definitely a statement thing, and a lot of people really enjoy it. So, to each their own. That was a bad showing. Yeah. I did watch a little bit of it, but holy cow, that was tough to watch.
And I had no idea. I did fill out a women's bracket, by the way. We always do a men's and women's tournament pool at work. So I filled out both of them. I lost both. Oh well.
Oh really?
We'll have that.
I was surprised you didn't win one of those. It happens to us all the time, right? I
needed Arizona and Illinois, and I would have been in the winning, but no, didn't happen. Didn't happen.
I had a horrible year where like it wasn't even worth watching type thing.
Yeah.
I just wasn't in anything, and I didn't know anything, and I really didn't care all that much.
Well, let's flip gears. Let's talk about the NFL. What we know and love. Is it time yet? I mean, What do we have? A couple months yet?
It's always time, Jamie. It's always time.
Man, I miss it. I really do. But it'll be here before we know it.
I found myself watching the UFL game the other day.
Did you really?
Yeah.
The big question is, did you bet it though? Did you bet it?
No, but I did notice they had the point spread and the spread of the game. I'm sorry, the point spread and the over-under right by the score, so you just couldn't escape it. Yeah, I know. It's like...
Jeez, it's unbelievable.
I know.
What did you think of this Max Crosby situation with the Ravens? You know, essentially agreeing to the trade, and then the Ravens back out due to his physical.
I thought the interesting thing was the signing and the quickness of the signing with the guy from Cincinnati, which told me that in their minds they had a 1 and a 1A.
Yeah.
And when the 1A heard they were going with the 1, so that he hears they're going with Crosby, did he change his terms? Did he say, hey, something falls through? It seemed fishy to me that the Ravens would have done that and then walked away after being in a position to secure him. It really, I mean, gosh, I know he probably signs his life away when he does it, but I'd be pissed as Crosby, right? Like, you know, I played all year. Like, I don't, whatever you think.
And how does he ever go back to the Raiders at this point? I mean, they hated each other. Now, they've tried to smooth things over, Crosby, but, like, how do you go back and repair that?
You don't. I mean, I wouldn't go back.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting from the Ravens standpoint. I mean, they give up, what was it, 2 first-round picks to get Crosby, and then they end up saying no and signing a free agent that cost them money, obviously, but no picks. Like, to see the Ravens give up 2 picks, I always feel like they're a really well-run organization, and I was surprised that they would be willing to give up 2 picks for Crosby.
Well, it's tough to argue with that guy and what he can do for a defense, right? That position. We've seen that position really in the last probably 3 or 4 years. Heat from the corner, pressure from the edge on defense is just, it affects how you cover the secondary. Or it's like, if you can bring really hard pressure and you trust the guy, I mean, does that take a third of the field away? Now you're only covering 2/3 with a full thing. And I think we're just learning the value of edge rushers and how important they are to. And you see them; they're staying in the league a long time, right? You're hearing guys that get 12 plays a game, 15 plays a game, and they're still in the league and 35 years old playing defensive end.
Well, we talked about this last season about, you know, are quarterbacks now, are we going to start seeing quarterbacks get paid a little bit less so they can spread the money around and do a little bit more with it? And it feels like maybe that transition's starting to happen. Towards
the end of the year, you were, I think, the one that pointed it out, and you said, hey, if you see one thing in common with these teams, they're not strapped to a quarterback contract.
No.
And so, who knows? The NFL changes fast. And then when it does, we'll get about 3 years of that, and then they'll figure something else out. But could be. For sure it could.
The Mahomes contract and so forth, it does limit what you can do as a team. And, you know, you look at Seattle and what they're able to do, and even the Rams a little bit and what they're able to do. They're still paying their guys, don't get me wrong, but not obscene amounts of money. When you have a Super Bowl with Seattle and then New England, who's on a second-year quarterback, and think about the money that they're able to spread around, it does feel like maybe that's something we need to look at for next year.
Well, I think there's probably people a lot more intelligent than us and trained in all those statistical fields. I think they're working on it, right?
Oh yeah.
I think they're going to find that sweet spot of what you pay a quarterback that'll allow you to use money over here and have money for this. They're on it.
Absolutely.
It's not going to come from me though.
No. But we'll watch and we'll enjoy it. So Mendoza goes number 1, right? He goes number 1 to the Raiders?
Yeah. I love this Kirk Cousins thing.
Well, I do too. Do you assume that Mendoza starts, though, the first week?
No. I'm like, so you and I talked about Trevor Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
Now, that's a guy that did get thrown into it, but he's like one of the rare dudes that survived.
But like up until this past year,
he was on the way out.
Yes,
he was back up against, but he's not. You know, now that's changed, and so which is an interesting way to look at it. We've always said that. Like, why do you have to put this kid in here? It's the Raiders. You're not going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Your goal should be to win 500 games. Like, do the Tomlin thing. And like, don't put that kid in a position to get his brains beat in, his confidence shattered. Don't get in a position where he starts 2 games and he's so god awful. He either has to fake an injury to get out of the lineup, or they just bench him. Just start Kirk Cousins and tell the kid to learn.
Yeah, and Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback, by the way, and he's a great one to learn from. You and I have talked about that.
Yeah.
Coaching pedigree.
Not everybody is. And I think that dude has always looked at it as a business. And so I think he's in good hands there, and I don't think there should be a lot of pressure from his camp to get on that field. For who, for what? To quote Ricky Waters, like, so you can win 1 more game maybe, or 2, but you're still losing 9.
Yeah, and you know,
I don't know. Just for this year. Just for this year.
And I may be saying this, and it might be totally inappropriate, but like, he seems like a pretty emotional guy, Mendoza, and you do worry about his psyche if he starts losing games, something he hasn't done for, a while now. On the other hand, I do think the Raiders are going to be a much better team overall this year. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Well, here would be my take as a Raider fan. If the Raiders are going to be better and they're going to find a way to be more competitive, I will still argue Kirk Cousins is the better quarterback to start that season.
Yeah, you look at guys like Jaden Daniels.
Don't let a rookie quarterback, if you do think you're in a position to where you can compete better than you did the last year, don't put your quarterback in a position to be the reason you don't, right?
Agree.
Start Cousins and let him.
I mean, how many quarterbacks? There have been very few quarterbacks who have come out and lit it up year one. I mean, you can say C.J. Stroud.
Or they have like a lucky, or I shouldn't say lucky, or they have a game or 2, and then all of a sudden it's like these defensive coordinators go, we'll blitz from here. He can't throw from that. He can't throw from that angle. So we'll blitz him into a corner. Next thing you know, the poor kid's like 1 for 13 and 2 picks.
I mean, C.J. Stroud has become pretty, I don't want to say awful, but I'll say it, pretty awful. But yes, they were in the playoffs last year, but he looked awful towards the end of the year. And yeah, I have to agree with you, Kevin. Then you look at a guy like Jordan Love, who sat behind Aaron Rodgers for a long time. Hey, now, granted,
do the Packers do it right or what, though? They did the same thing with Rodgers.
Correct.
Till they held Rodgers back till he was like a horse in a stable and knew that he was better. You know, and then they made the move. The Packers have done that very well.
Yeah. Well, it'll be fun to watch and see what Mendoza can do. Again, I just football will be here soon enough. It will. I promise. Well, moving on, baseball. You watch any baseball? How are the Bronx Bombers?
Just a few games. That my son and I, that's usually the topic of conversation at the island as I'm making him breakfast in the morning. He brings me up to date. Keep in mind, Jamie, at my age, I'm usually sleeping around 9:45, 10 o'clock. So I don't get my phone first thing in the morning. No, Yanks are off to another great start. It's interesting because everybody's losing their minds. We didn't change enough. We didn't get rid of the people we needed to, because I was done with a lot of the people that are still there. Hopefully that footage isn't available.
It's somewhere.
Because I was thinking about it because I knew we were going to talk about it. I was pretty big on cleaning house and rebuilding, but we start the season well and hot, and who knows? It's a long year, right? And you just see where you go.
The Yankee pitching right now is sick, though. It's really, really good.
And it's not going to be like that forever. But like, if you can we did it last year. Like, we were hot last year. I forget what our record was in like the first 25 games. That's big. So I'm very happy with the winning and stuff and the way we're winning. You just got to be realist and know, it's not like those guys are going to go 23, 24 wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but starting out, I think they played Seattle, I believe. Look,
we opened up with that thought.
Yeah, this Max Fried guy is really good. Cam Schlittler is the real deal. Every time I see him pitch, He is just outstanding. And then you've got a guy named Aaron Judge who's pretty good. And by the way, Giancarlo Stanton's hitting the ball too.
Which should scare people.
Yeah.
You know, if that guy finds a rhythm, more than a Judge rhythm, if Stan gets hot, like it changes everything.
It went from me hearing he couldn't open up a bag of potato chips to him hitting a home run against the Giants, I think it was, in that opening series. He's looked really good. Orioles look very pedestrian. You know, something's just not right there. I don't know what it is, but they're just, I feel like they did all the right things, and this is a team that's just having trouble coming together. Again, we're through 9 games, but
I think as an Orioles fan, there was a lot of excitement, right? With what was going on and the things that were happening. Maybe, you know, like we were saying, it's a long season, but hopefully they get on their feet. Okay, right? Like,
yeah.
I guess my expectations for them are higher too.
Well,
some people might be like, what are you talking about getting on their feet?
After years of doing nothing, like they went out and signed Pete Alonso, meant a lot, right? They revamped their farm system. They brought up all these kids, good players, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman. You expect a lot, and for some reason, it's just not clicking right now. I thought they had some pretty good starting pitching, but through 9 games, you know, I think they're 3-6, and you're playing teams like the Twins and the Pirates, although the Pirates, I think, are a lot better.
Yeah, they are, but you're going to want to win those games.
Yeah.
It's still the Pirates, right?
So that's been a little disturbing. You know, I think it's still the Dodgers, the $375 million payroll Dodgers. I mean, Kevin, the Dodgers payroll's $375 million. I think it's closer to 400. The Marlins is $75 million. And that's a problem. That's a huge problem. And it may take a lockout and an extended lockout to solve it. And I hear the positives and negatives about a salary cap, but I think even teams like the Yankees are like, yeah, that's extraordinary. We're not spending that much money to field a team. It just feels like there's, yeah.
The Dodgers get all the crap that we used to for the Yankees for making our aggressive moves.
Hey, I respect the Yankees right now. Do they make moves? I mean, they didn't this year, but like they'll make moves at times, but a lot of these guys, they have come up through the farm system.
Oh, yeah,
I give them credit.
Especially our late 90 and 2000 run, that was all farm grown, you know.
Yeah.
The Dodgers take a little bit of the fun out of it. It's fun to watch. I mean, those guys are amazing, you know, and the stuff they're doing, but they're all wearing the same jersey and it's just not a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Well, there is a lot of drama, but the Dodgers end up winning.
Yeah. Well, Murph, will you watch the Masters coming up?
Yeah, I enjoy that.
Tiger's he's not going to participate. I don't know if he's going to watch. What did you think of that whole drama?
I feel for him. Like I didn't have the result, the reaction that maybe most did. I feel like there's a guy that's like pretty special, and it should tell you the strength of the addictions of the opioid and the problems we have in our country. Like just because he is this guy that sits on this pedestal and flies in private jets, he can't beat a pill. I mean, he could go hit 5,000 golf balls when he was 13, but he's hooked to this pill that is quite honestly ruining his life, and he still can't stop it, right? He knows what it is.
You wonder.
That should terrify all of us.
Yeah. And you wonder if he was trying to get ready to play. And I know he's made a big commitment to different things this year. And is that part of it that he just, he is hurting? I mean, he's got bad knees. He's got a bad back. He's been in an accident already. Yeah, it's crazy. You do feel bad. Tiger's one of those guys that I root for all the time. Like when he's at a tournament, I always root for him. I don't know if I'll ever see him again. He
was an interesting guy. Yeah, you start to wonder that. Like when he's on TV, like, do I have to watch it? But he's one of those guys that, grew up in like the total public eye. Like everybody feels like they have a little ownership on Tiger, right? I was there when I saw him do this, and I remember when he did this, and my wife and I were on our first date, and he dropped that putt, and it was the craziest. Like a lot of people feel they own a little piece of Tiger, and And I do think people root for him, right? He was this guy that was somewhat abrasive and then had some stumbles and messed some things up, came back maybe a little bit with hat in hand and opened himself up to people. We all fell back in love with him quickly. And I think more people are rooting for him than they aren't, but that should just tell everybody what it's like. I mean, that's a guy that can do whatever he wants. He just can't get over that one problem. And I think that's what it is. So he's got to figure it out.
Yeah, it is sad, but so the Masters, I'll definitely be watching it. Have you ever been down there?
I did. I went 2 years ago, and it was an experience of a lifetime. If you remember 2 years ago, 2023, Sunday was an extra day. Saturday they had a storm and a tree fell.
Okay. And
I was watching the Masters knowing I was flying out Saturday, and I think it was Friday, or I forget when the tree fell, but a tree fell. And like I was like, oh my God, yeah, I'll check that out. When I got there, you couldn't tell a tree was there. You couldn't tell.
They got on that pretty quick.
Yeah. But the coolest thing about it was Saturday's round got stopped. And so they had to finish Saturday's round Sunday morning.
Okay.
And so it just gave you like an extra 4 hours to walk around there. Things people don't realize about Augusta. Hilly. Extremely hilly walking it.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, so you see the waves and the way the hill goes. People are in the background going down and up big hills. It's a lot of walking. It's not...
Which is a lot for a guy like Tiger then, right?
Yeah, it's not a joke. Now, they have it a little bit better because they're walking the fairways and stuff. But us on the outside... And then that thing with that deal with the food is legit. Like you walk in and they serve you Master Light. It's not Miller Light, but I have a sneaky suspicion what it is.
Yeah.
And like it's a badge of honor. All the dudes that drink them and they carry like their green cups around. They got like 23 green cups walking, standing up.
Is that kind of like a Miller Lite, one of those imports?
Yes, an imported beer. But it was like the moment you walk in there, just onto the grounds in general, it is special, like truly special. And the respect and everything of the crowds and how everybody handles things. And it was just to be there. It was so cool to take it in. And to be there allows you, when you watch it, to remember it. Right? Because I can remember the green they're hitting from, but I was watching it from the side and it looked like it was going like, it was like making me sick.
Man.
Unbelievable experience. The best.
Been to Congressional twice for the US Open, and I had one of those Sundays that there was a storm that came through Saturday, so they had to start some early on Sunday to finish the third round, and that was the best part. Because there's not as many people there. And granted, it's the guys at the end, but like, I think it was like Tom Kite or something like that. Like guys that I knew growing up that maybe were a little older at the time. And, but it was really cool to watch that. I remember Ernie Els won the first time I went. And then the second time I went, Rory won, which was really neat. I thought Congressional was great, but it's nothing like Augusta.
No, for me, it was just like I remember my first time going to Notre Dame. Like I just couldn't believe that I was here. When you're at the Masters, you find yourself in a lot of moments just by yourself quietly walking, and you'll just stare over. You'll be like, I'm here, man. Like this is it. And it is
listen to the birds.
Listen to the birds. Legit. And the roar of the crowd. That gives you chills. That gives me chills talking about when somebody does something and that roar, it goes right through those trees. And that's a legit feeling. When they say you feel it, it's like
what happened over there? What did we miss? Yeah.
It's great.
That's really, I do enjoy like the golf majors.
I have buddies
following it.
Yeah, I have buddies that go to them and their wives enjoy it. It's a nice day. You just sort of walk. You're getting exercise. Yeah. It's always beautiful. You're on a golf course, the flowers and everything. But it's like not a bad trip for everyone.
Well, we have Crooked Stick here. Literally, I could walk to it. Like it's right there. They hosted, I think it was the 90 or 91 PGA Championship when John Daly won. And that story was great because Daly wasn't even supposed to participate. He was an alternate that came in at the last minute, ends up winning it. And that was just the start of the whole.
And then that propelled him on his run, right?
On his run, he ended up winning the British Open. And I think those are the only two majors. And I was talking to a guy that might be one of the named partners where I work, who was like, thank goodness he won the British Open. Because if he didn't win the British Open, then it was just a one-time thing at the PGA, at our club, Crooked Stick. So that kind of vaulted him forward as, hey, this is the real deal. Mm-hmm. Now he's had his issues since then, but like Daly's just Daly now. He's just going to be who he is.
Yeah.
I think everybody has just accepted that. And quite frankly, you compare him to a Tiger, and it's like, what's the worst version here? Because yeah, Daly's going to smoke a cigarette, crack a beer, and ask where the next hole is. But at least he's playing.
Question. It's a fair question. And back when John Daly was going through it, we were learning more and more about some of this stuff. And there's probably a lot of people who've given him a handshake and said, you know, I was a little harder on you than maybe I should have been in that industry, because he is still around.
He is still around.
Not a lot of people thought he was going to be.
Yeah. I think golf is.
I think that's but I just on another point. I think that's something, Jamie, I'm going to add to more bucket lists, like how I enjoy going to stadiums.
Yeah.
I'm going to try, and I don't have to catch. I think that the thing people have to realize too is like, don't go to like the main day. Go to a practice round, because the coolest thing is just seeing the course, and then when you watch it on TV, you can know like what it does, and that was what I have enjoyed the most with getting to the Masters.
I came here in 2012, in I think it was March of 2012, and our landlord called me and said, "Hey, we've got a private jet. We can fly you down to the Masters for a practice round. Do you want to go?" And I felt like I was too new, that I didn't feel right, and I declined. And to this day, I regret it. I was just talking to Jill about it. It's like, private jet to Augusta. Come on. Like, what was I thinking?
I don't know. I don't think you were. And I consider you one of my more intelligent friends, and then I get this story.
But I think we should think about that, Kevin. We should think about going to some of those. I would love to do that. That would be.
It's just fun, right? Now, did you get downtown at all to hang out?
No, so I had tickets, but I could not believe what the ticket price, what the cost was. I couldn't believe what the tickets were going for. It was obscene. And I went back in 2015 to the Final Four. It was a great experience, bucket list item, checked it off. Again, I kind of told you how I felt about basketball this go around. It's just not. I didn't feel the draw. I didn't feel the need to go down there. If I would have gone, what would have been really interesting is yesterday they played the Division II and Division III championship at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, which is the Pacers arena. It's the first time they had all the championships in Indy.
That would be a fun ticket, right? To watch.
I think that would.
So there's a kid from Eastern York who was on
John Robb. John Robb?
No. But his name's Warmsley or something, but he was on the roster. Okay. He was on the team for Gannon.
That's awesome. I mean, that is something that's like that's really cool for those kids. And the news was highlighting it, and it showed the kids walking into Gainbridge, not Lucas Oil Stadium, but Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and they're just like, you know how we used to walk into Hershey Park Arena and we were like, wow, this is amazing. That's what they were like. And it was really cool. It was really awesome.
I watched quite a bit of Division III basketball, and I'm amazed. York College, our local team, is perennially in the top 25. They had an alumni, an All-American, come back and coach them, a local
Who
guy.
is that, Kevin?
Jared Wagner.
Yeah, that's right. Jared Wagner.
Matt Wagner,
I remember.
The guy from Central, his son, Jared, had an unbelievably, really successful career at Central York High School and then York College.
Yeah.
He's back coaching, but I'll tell you what, I'm always impressed with both teams, and I'm thinking, that was a really entertaining game. Like, I enjoy it. That's
awesome. When we were growing up, F&M was the big team, right? We used to go to F&M basketball camp. And
then the Sixers would do their preseason there. Which we
that's right. I forgot about that. They did. That's right. Interesting. Well, Kevin, any parting sports words or any other words? Anything? What's going on with the hat? What's up with the?
So this is my buddy's daughter, Carly Hind. She started her career at Maryland. Scott Hines' daughter. Remember Scott?
Hines, yeah.
Yeah, Scott's daughter, Carly. So she played at Maryland for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then did the super year with St. Joe's. They just had won the big, I guess, what would they be? The Big East?
Would they be the Atlantic?
Atlantic 10?
Atlantic 10?
I forget what conference they're in. That's horrible.
Yeah. Well, you don't know these days, especially for different sports, but
they won their conference, which got them into the NCAAs. They had to win in advance. And then in the first game, she dropped 2 in the net, which was
that
just
is awesome.
Yeah,
good for
one of your last collegiate games, and then they lost a tough one to eventual champs North Carolina. I think North Carolina ended up losing this year. But so that's the hat. I got to follow her for 5 years.
That is great.
It's just neat to learn about a different sport and the ins and outs of it and the business side of it. So
that's great. Well, let's do this. Let's agree that we're not going to go more than a couple weeks without doing this again. We got to get Buck on. We should talk to Buck, especially with the NBA playoffs coming up. Why don't we let's try to do a show with him, talk to him about his thoughts on the NBA. But after a hiatus, let's make sure we're go, and then we can look forward to our
getting sort of into our wheelhouse. That football ended, and then we were away a little bit back and forth. But man, football, I really, really enjoyed talking football, and we'll roll it into the basketball. But preseason, you and I could really have some fun preseason.
We're going to have some fun. We'll definitely do a draft show too. We've got to do a draft show. Not that we're draft experts. Nobody's going to say that we're draft experts, but
I'm the worst.
There's still a lot of fun with that. So we'll get together on that. Murph, it's always good to see you and always good to know you're doing well.
Yes, take care, Jamie. You too.
All right. Okay, pivoting now to my end of week 1 MLB power ratings. What you see right now is where I rated everybody as of opening day. And I'm not going to have a lot of changes. We're 1 week in. We're 8 to 9 games in for a lot of teams. So not a lot of changes, but let's go through it. The Colorado Rockies, 30th, bottom of my pyramid. I'm keeping them put. They're 3-6, and I have no clear signal that they're going to be anything but one of the worst teams in baseball. Same thing to the Washington Nationals. They're 3-6. I'm going to keep them there. I'm going to keep the White Sox at 4-5 where they are. St. Louis has shown a little something, and there may be something here. I'm not moving them yet. They're 5-4. I give them credit, but just right now, keeping them where they are. Here's my first change. We've got the Angels, and they're 5-5. I've seen a little bit from them to let me see and know maybe they're doing a little bit more than I thought. So let me move them, and let me move the Twins back. The Twins right now are 3-6. And I don't see them having a contending team this year, and they do have some injuries, especially to their pitching staff. So I'm going to move the Twins back, and I am going to move the Angels over where the Twins were located. Next, I'm going to move San Francisco back. They had a terrible opening weekend series against the Yankees. They just looked really overmatched, and it might be their new college manager coming in and trying to get his feet wet. But right now, I just don't have a lot of confidence in San Francisco. They sit at 3-7, so I'm going to move them back a couple of spots. I'm going to keep Tampa Bay where they are. Notice I keep the Marlins here. So am I putting the Marlins here? No, I'm not. I'm actually going to take the A's and move them back to the bottom tier. Look, they've got a lot of hitting. They don't have a lot of pitching. We knew that. That might be a little bit of an overreaction from me. They're 3-6. They played the pennant-winning Toronto Blue Jays, so maybe that's a little bit unfair. But I'm moving them back a couple of spots, and I'm actually going to move the Marlins up a couple of spots. They've started off the season really well, and Miami is 6-3, so that is where I'm going to place them at the very first spot of the last level of my pyramid. Pittsburgh, I'm going to move up, and I'm moving Cleveland up into the second leg of my pyramid, the second from the bottom. Cleveland 6-4. They've had a pretty good start to the season. They've got some pitching that I didn't expect. So again, not a huge move here, but I'm going to move Cleveland up to the second leg of my pyramid. I'm going to move Texas back a spot. They're 4-5. I'm going to move Arizona back a spot. They're 5-5. San Diego is 4-5, and they just look a little old to me. And I'm not having a lot of confidence that they are on the cusp of being a playoff team. I'll move the Royals back a spot. Okay. They're 4-5. They're doing fine, but just moving them back a little bit. Atlanta has started off pretty well, 6-4, but I'm going to move them back a slot. I'm going to move Baltimore, my beloved Orioles, back. They're 3-6, and they just do not look good to start the season. And that leaves me moving Pittsburgh to the very first position in that second to bottom tier. Pittsburgh 6-3. They've got a lot of good young pitching, and called up their rookie phenom shortstop. So I think there's a lot to like there for Pittsburgh right now. Cincy, I'm going to pull out for a second. Boston, I'm moving back. They've got off to a pretty horrendous start. They're 2-7. I still have faith in them that they'll, by the end, be a good, solid playoff team. Houston started off really well. They're 6-4. I'm going to move them into the third tier, near the back. I'm going to move the Yankees and replace them with Cincinnati. Okay, Cincinnati has started out 6-3. I think they were a team that I had an eye on at the beginning of the season, and I feel pretty good about them. And again, starting off 6-3, look pretty good. Detroit, I'm going to move back one spot. They're 4-5. I still think they're a really good team and will win that division. The Mets, I'm going to move back a spot. They're 6-4, but I had to move the Yankees up. The Yankees are 7-2, and their pitching looks so darn good right now. So I'm going to move the Yankees there at 7-2. I didn't touch the Phillies, who are 5-4. Toronto is 4-5. The Cubs are 4-5, and Seattle's 4-6. I didn't touch them yet. Too early. And then I kept LA and Milwaukee at the top. So this is what my week 1 power ratings look like. Not a lot of changes, maybe a little bit of overreaction to it. Too early to tell. Again, we're 8 to 10 games into this thing. But the Brewers are playing as I thought they would. The Dodgers are playing as I thought they would. I still have a lot of faith in the Mariners, Cubs, and the Mariners and Cubs especially. The Yankees might be a little bit better than I thought, I'll be honest with you. Soto just went on the IL today for the Mets. Not good. So, we'll see. There have already been some early pitching injuries, and not good for baseball in general. But this is where I've got my week 1. We'll see where everybody is by the end of next week. All right, so great time with Murph today, talking about a lot of different topics, including tonight's championship game between Michigan and UConn, and a bevy of other sports topics. Did I say that right? Is that bevy? I don't know if that's the right word, but a lot of good sports topics. We finished off then with power rankings, MLB through week 1. And that's it. That's a wrap. Thanks for joining the show. Again, make sure that you follow the podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Subscribe to it. Give the show a thumbs up if you like it. And then follow me on my social media channels on X and on Instagram at Us Ellis HQ, and emailing me if you want to be part of the show or if you have a question, Jamie@TellUsEllis.com. Till next time, good seeing everybody.